Tulikuwa tumekuahidi kwamba tutakuwa na mgeni studioni. Mgeni wetu tayari ameingia, ambaye ni balozi wa Marekani hapa nchini Kenya, ambaye anatambulika kama McCarter. Sijui kama nimetamka vizuri. Happy Thanksgiving, Mr. McCarter, na karibu sana Radio Jambo.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and all your listeners.
Wow. First of all, what's Thanksgiving?
Well, you know, it's a national holiday in the United States that was it's there because of a woman, actually.
Wow, what happened?
Yeah, we've been in BBI. We've been talking about all the contributions from the women. Well, there was a woman, Sarah Hale, who for 15 years kept asking the president to make it a holiday, and then finally Abraham Lincoln from my state of Illinois listened, and he did it. And so he got a letter, and the next week he made it a national holiday, and that's been a big. That's one of our big pastimes every year, to simply stop, reflect, and say thank you to God for the blessings that we have.
So it's not all about turkeys.
That's just one of the things, but we do enjoy the turkey, that's for sure. And we did that yesterday. Yeah, we did that here. We did that at a number of the media stations all over Nairobi.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, in my kitchen, we cooked 10 turkeys yesterday.
Wow,
10 early in the morning, and so we spread the turkey love.
Yes, I've tasted turkey, but let me ask you, why the turkey?
Because that's the bird indigenous to the United States.
It's like ugali to Kenya.
Yeah, it is. But I had that too. Now listen, I didn't leave Kenya out. I had an ugali turkey.
Really?
I had a turkey made of ugali because and you think about it. Yeah. You give a Kenyan a choice between a roasted turkey and an ugali turkey. What's he going to do?
He's going to take ugali turkey.
He has to. He'd be offending he'd offend the national food of Kenya, right?
It's true.
So we had both, and we cut a slice of both and put them together, and it was a good time.
Wow. I was reading somewhere that probably you grew up in Kenya. Where and how has it been?
When I was a young man, right out of college, I came to Tharaka Nithi.
Tharaka Nithi.
Really?
And I was just telling you, you asked me how I was enjoying Nairobi. I said, if you can live in Tharaka Nithi, you can live anywhere. Because life is difficult. It's tough. It's not, it's hot. It's rocky. I mean, it's a tough life. But my wife, Victoria, and I came there with our 3-year-old daughter. There was a cholera epidemic. There was a drought, and we decided to show up and help. And we built. Took me 2 years to build a healthcare clinic there. I actually lived outside and slept under a tree until the building was up. And people asked me why I did it. I did it only because people needed the help.
Wow.
And so my father had been here just before that. We stayed for 2.5 years. Built and then came back 8 years ago and built a children's home, built a school, primary school, and so we have Victoria and I have invested a lot, and that's one of the reasons I tell people I have to succeed here because Kenya has to succeed because I've got a lot of children that are counting on me too.
Yeah, but let me ask you, how did it happen? Was it like that since you grew in Kenya or you've stayed in Kenya? That maybe they decided to make you an ambassador to Kenya, or it was just by,
coincidence.
Well, a lot of things. Hey, listen, a lot of things took place in my life to get me where I am today, and I think you have experiences, good and bad, and they kind of build on one another. And when I saw injustice in the United States, I saw corruption, and I went after it. And so I decided I was going to go get involved in politics. I tried once, I lost. I tried the second time, I lost. And then I got appointed to a county position, and then I won 3 times. And then I got appointed to a state position, and I spent 10 years in the Senate. And I was always fighting injustice. And that's the reason I got involved.
Wow.
And so all of those things... Yes, the experience that I had here that was meaningful, and I'm just very, very fortunate and honored to be appointed by President Trump to be able to serve in a country that I love.
Talking of politics, U.S. has been very instrumental in brokering political impulse, especially in Kenya, by either speaking out or bringing politicians together to dialogue. What has been the role of the U.S. on this BBI report that was recently released? Did you guys play any role there?
Yeah, we did. We did in that we paid for a large portion of it, of the meetings in all of the counties. We at least made it possible for the environment. Okay, now the discussion is up to Kenya.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this draft is from the Kenyan leaders, and everyone has an opinion, right?
But are you satisfied with the document so far?
Well, I think they're good ideas. I think they're good ideas.
Do you believe it will achieve the objectives?
I think it can. I think if we keep the same attitude that we had 2 days ago at Bomas, if we have this attitude that we're going to all work together and that there's going to be peace and we're not going to let politicians divide the people, which let's face it, the people are not divided. We have tribes they work together, they live together, they marry each other. They marry each other, they go to church together, and then all of a sudden, a politician needs the votes, and he says, "Listen, you got to be with me." Why? I mean, are the people not smart enough to figure this out on themselves?
So the problem is the politicians.
Well, I think many times they're the ones that divide.
Actually, the conversation right now is whether we should let the people decide on this document or we give it to the politician in parliament. What's your take about that?
Well, I think the people need to speak up. I think the people need to read it. The people need to look at it and make it. Let's face it. Their elected officials are supposed to be the voice of the people,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So the people are going to need to step up and talk about it. Have a discussion about it. What's good? What's bad? What's best for the country? And then they need to make their voice known. So, I mean, if you have an opinion, it's good, but you really ought to read it first.
Okay. and if you were to advise our politicians as the conversation starts, what would be your advice?
Listen. Don't just speak. Listen. Listen to the people. I mean, if the people think this is good for the country, let them decide. And I think what I was encouraged by with BBI is that a majority of the document talked about the people and the people changing. And not just a new system. I mean, let's face it. You put good people in a bad system, the system works. We need better people in the system.
It's true.
That's what we need. You know, if I could just send via M-Pesa and buy some integrity and send it to an elected official, that'd be great. We could raise a lot of money. We could have a Harambe. We can make money for and send them buy the integrity. But you can't buy integrity.
The argument has always been that maybe we need to change the structure of
governance
of government so that we can achieve this bringing people together, unity and all that. So you don't think that that's the problem?
I think that can happen I think the people can decide to come together with the unity and the peace. I think we have to have people in the system with integrity that will operate the system. I think you can take the most perfect system, and if you don't have people with integrity in it, it can still fail. I'm so surprised. You surprised me this morning.
You recently banned one of our former Attorney General, Mr. Amos Wako. And we hear there are so many others that maybe are going to be banned or something like that. And it's about corruption. So what evidence do you guys have about this case? Because we've not seen him being tried here locally or any case of corruption.
Well, we don't try people on radio. We don't try people on. we don't. Good for you. We don't try them on TV. We use laws that are in place that have a very high threshold that we have to do our homework.
So you do your own investigations.
We would not come forward with a announcement like that if we didn't have solid evidence. And so. And we can't announce everyone. You have to remember there are people that we revoke visas from all the time, and but we can't make it public. Now, if you see someone that was supposed to travel and then they didn't go, maybe that's the guy. I don't know.
Because we saw him complaining that there is no evidence. He's never been accused of corruption locally. So he's wondering, why is he being banned?
Well, listen, he can respond however he wants. This is a process that we went through that is legal, that's upright. It has a high level of evidence that has to be there, and we're going to continue to name anyone that we can that we believe is not helping Kenyans, and by being involved in corruption or thievery, as I say.
How significant are these bans? Are they really helping to fight corruption locally? Do you
well,
think so?
I think we have to do everything we can. I think we can't sit back. I think here's the thing: you go to the village, go to the village, and you take this young mom who does everything she can to pay school fees, everything. I mean, those kids get sent home. They're one grade behind, one standard behind, 2 standards behind. Why? Because the fees weren't paid. Because they got chased. They got chased because they didn't have school. So that mom does everything she can, even sells her land, so that she can give your child a chance to succeed and get out of poverty. She'll do anything. And if a mom like that tries so hard, why would I support letting someone steal money and then pay for their child's education in cash in the United States? That's not fair. That's not fair at all. And so, I mean, I think it's an injustice. Why should I'm not going to support that. And so the people tried way too hard to, and I have much more respect for them to allow a thief to go away and spend the money in the United States.
Okay. Let me just on the same note. Are your father's sin yours? Are your father's sins yours?
It's
because they say they ban somebody, they ban the family, they ban everybody. Why the family, the wife, and the son?
And the son.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. That money's trailing through them,
through the family.
Exactly.
So you think it's fair?
Yeah, because if I give stolen money to my son, is it now good money? Is it now clean money? I mean, if I give it to you, is it still clean money? No, it's not. It's still ill-gotten money.
Okay. Another question that was coming up: how many political leaders are past or present are also facing similar bans by the U.S.?
Well, I mean, listen, the size of this thievery is huge. And if it wasn't so huge, we wouldn't be talking about it all the time. And if it wasn't such an injustice, you think about it: 800 billion Kenya shillings every year. And this is a number that we can back up, and other independent organizations can back up. You're taking that opportunity out of this economy. You're taking that prosperity away from the people. If I showed up this morning and I had 800, if I brought with me 800 billion Kenyans, I said, listen, I'm going to invest this in Kenya today, you would probably want to elect me. Isn't it? Definitely. I mean, you would be happy.
Yes.
Think about how good that is. In fact, how good that is the Big Four. It doesn't matter what you think about the Big Four and the politics. They're all good things, right? That's the value of it. You could buy the Big Four with what people are stealing today. So we're allowing people to steal the prosperity that the Wananchi deserve.
But the U.S. is playing its part. But these people, this politician, can also go to other countries and still spend their money there. So do you think that this process is going to help?
I can only be the ambassador to one country. And I personally believe it's the best, right? But my job is to defend the United States.
Okay, on that note,
remember it's America first and Kenya first.
Okay, on that note, are you going to name and shame very soon, or name other?
Well, here's the thing: we can only name what we can according to the law. All right? But that doesn't mean we're not very busy. We are very busy. We're training prosecutors. We're training investigators. We're involved in the judiciary. We're doing a lot of things behind the scene to find these thieves and hold them accountable.
Wow.
Are you also checking on the accounts of these so-called thieves that have deposited money maybe in the United States of America? Is that do you block those accounts, or what happens?
Well, here's the thing.
Or do you return the money to the country?
No, here's I don't go into details because I don't like educating thieves.
They will know what to do.
No, this needs to be a surprise. we want to show up when they still have the money.
Na unaendelea kusikiza kipindi Gidi na Ghost asubuhi, na ndani ya studio tuko na balozi wa Marekani hapa nchini Kenya ambaye anatambulika kama McCarter. By the way, McCarter, am I pronouncing your name well? I hope I'm not.
And you can. The easiest way is to think of it as McCarter, McCarter. So it's all right. So it's all right. That's
okay. Now I wanted to ask. There was this road that was supposed to be built. I don't know if it was supposed to be financed by America. Nairobi Mombasa Superhighway. What happened to it?
Well, it's still in the works. I mean, there's been over 100 million shillings that have been invested to design it, engineer it, and so it's been it's in the works right now.
So there's no issue around it.
No, there's no issue. This is just a bunch of kalele. The people. They just, I give credit to certain people for the bad information. And as you know, I was very clear on my tweet, but. These are big projects. They take time. Let's face it. From Nairobi to Mombasa, we need a highway. If you've ever had to endure traveling that road, especially if you go into the evening, it's a dangerous road. It's hectic. By the time you get there, you need a holiday. Let's face it. I mean, really, you need 2 or 3 more days just to get past the drive. And so it's a needed road. This is going to be a signature road built by Americans, built by with American ingenuity, but Kenyans. I mean, this is the agreement that 70% of the people on that road are Kenyans. Not hired out, nationals from other countries. I mean, Kenyans are going to build this road. And so, and we have built into it apprenticeships to where Kenyans learn how to do this and do this in the future. If the United States is not involved in a project that takes side by side Kenya down the pathway to self-reliance, we're not going to be involved in it. Kenya has the ability to do this themselves.
Yeah. Talking of that, we are seeing a lot of mega projects in Kenya being handled by the Chinese. What's the U.S. policy on investing in Kenya or helping Kenya develop its projects and all that? Is it that Chinese are easier to deal with than you guys or something?
Well, I don't know who they are, but let me. All I can do is speak for the United States. The United States is going to show how to do projects right with Kenyans, with apprenticeships, with quality that is 3 times what other people have done. I mean, this road is planned for 90 centimeters, not 30. This is built for the future. This is built to last. This is 4 lanes expandable to 6 with 10 or more interchanges between Mombasa and Nairobi. I mean, this is we have to adhere to the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act because if American contractor breaks the law, they go to jail in America. Don't worry about it here. Don't even think about worrying about your court system here. We're going to take them to court there if they break the law. So there's no bribes, there's no extra payments, and it's at a price that is a third of other people. So we're going to be the most competitive. We're going to give the best quality. We're going to use Kenyans to do it, and we're going to train Kenyans to do it the next time. And we're not going to impose debt on Kenya that they can't pay back. That's not fair.
And possibly, what's the timeline? Because the argument that has been being told out here is that maybe there is a slowdown because of maybe they're trying to bribe or the corruption or something.
Absolutely
like that
not.
involved.
I mean, maybe there's a slowdown with some people because we're not going to bribe, because there's not going to be extra payments. I mean, listen, I guarantee you,
you're going to stick to the budget.
We're going to stick to the budget. We're going to stick to a code of ethics that represents the United States. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. In fact, some people say, "Well, what about the competition?" Listen. As far as I'm concerned, the United States is the competition. And that's why I don't talk about other people.
Okay.
I guarantee you the road is not going to happen. This is my big announcement. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Last year we saw KQ, Kenya Airways, flying directly to the U.S.
Yes.
How has it helped Kenya so far?
Well, I think it is. I mean, you talk to people that have taken the flight. There was a big investment by the United States to make that possible. I'd like to see that be bigger. I'd like to see that we have more connections over in the United States so that more Americans can use it as well.
Lastly, Kenya has suffered a lot in the hands of terrorists. And there's this suggestion that we are just victims of maybe global aspect of the war on terrorism. How is the United States helping Kenya in this war? Because we are really hit every year in and out.
Well, we are. And the reality of what happens on the border in Somalia is something that has cost a lot of lives. And the United States understands that. And that's why we have, I'll tell you, of all the things we do, what we do with KDF, working side by side, is one of our biggest accomplishments. And we're not going to quit. We're not going to leave Kenya. We're not going to leave them there by themselves. We're going to keep working with them. And the fact that we can have this show this morning, right, and we're not having to announce another Doucette means that we've had some success. I mean, you know, there's been more peace than there has been in a long time in Kenya, and we have to be grateful for that. But we have to remain vigilant. We can't give up. I mean, we need to keep pushing back. And this violent extremism is not just from Somalia. Let's face it. You know, we've had homegrown Kenyans that as terrorists, and we need in our villages, in the communities, we need to get the word out that, listen, this is not the way. The option is prosperity. The option is jobs. The option is building up the community. And I think that's another thing that the United States, we're going to invest big into the prosperity of Kenya.
Okay. I'm going to pick 3 calls. Simu 3 alafu tumalizie mazungumzo. Kwa hivyo tafadhali malipopote ulipo nipigie simu ili uweze kuuliza balozi swali. Namba ya simu ni 020 44 45 975. Naanza na Henry kutoka Nakuru. Henry, habari gani?
Salama sana.
Uliza swali kwa haraka ili tuendelee.
So I have one question and one concern. Maybe let me ask this.
Uliza.
Does the discipline on travel bans on these politicians and any other person in corruption in Kenya assist in fighting corruption?
Okay, hii ban.
Number 2, my concern is after the subsequent after the ban. Me believe that the subsequent actions after the bans on these people be made public, because the corrupt they do is on the public.
Okay, atakuwa najibu hilo. Na msijali msikilizaji, hiyo imetosha, tupatie mwingine nafasi kwa sababu ya muda. Wanyama kutoka Shauri Moyo, ungependa kuuliza swali gani? Unaweza uliza kwa Kiswahili, si lazima ulize kwa Kizungu
No, I know English. Now, Mr. Ambassador, how are you, sir?
Ako salama, uliza swali bwana Wanyama. Tunaenda teke.
Now, my question is, when you look at the Kenyan judiciary, we have a problem with the judiciary.
What's
In
the
fact,
problem?
Most of our judges, they don't convict people with the money. So, I'm asking the ambassador, instead of banning people to step on their land, why can't they smuggle them to their land at the first trials there, instead of here in Kenya, where we all know that they will not be sentenced? Thank you very much.
Sada. Okay, alafu watatu, one more question ama 2 more. Masi kutoka Kitale, habari gani? Masi inaonekana ametoweka pale. Juma kutoka Gashie, swali lako?
Habari asubuhi Mr. Gedi.
Salama sana.
Mimi nashukuru sana kwa sababu ya kuleta huyo mgeni. Alafu swali langu ninauliza, after freezing their accounts ya hao tips wenye amesema, ameita vizuri, if it is a spoon, let it be a spoon. Ameita waizi. After freezing their accounts, plan gani wako nazo kwa sababu hizo pesa ambazo ziko huko nje?
Hiyo swali nafikiri kwamba ilishaulizwa, atakuwa na jibu. Okay, Mr. McCarter, these are the question. The first one is about this travel ban, and our listener want to know, after the ban, what action do you take, and are you going to make public other people who you are going to ban?
Well, if other people fit under that definition, they will be. They will be. But not everyone can. You have to remember, this was a long process. Unfortunately, this went through some bureaucracy that took a long time, longer than it would have taken for me personally. I mean, if it was up to me personally, I would probably name publicly a lot more people.
But is it going to be helpful if you're going to name them after 20 years?
Well, no, I honestly, I don't think it's as helpful. No. It's not as helpful the way that it took place, but that's the law, and I have to abide by the law.
Well, you must follow the law.
So unless we change the law, I mean, it's not going to make a difference. But until then, we've got to do exactly what we're doing right now, and that is work with the judiciary, work with the prosecutors, work with the DPP, work with the DCI, help Kenyans do a better job of enforcing the law themselves. The systems of law and order. You can't depend on the United States. We can't take. Everybody can't be a cautious where we take them somewhere else and convict them, right? The goal needs to be to convict people here and hold people to justice, bring them to justice here in Kenya. That needs to be the goal.
Actually, the next caller has talked about Kenyan judiciary, and he believes that maybe some of our judges are not, convicting these people or something. And he's suggesting that maybe perhaps you just take them to America and deal with them there.
Well, and there are people, right, there's people that will argue both ways. I said, why do we need to do that? Well, we keep them here, we do them there. So, I mean, there's an argument both ways. But I think we have to do both. If they violate the law of the United States and we can take them there, we'll do it. All right?
Like we saw some drug barons,
Akasha brothers.
who were taken there.
Exactly.
And is it true that they named some of the judges here who were involved?
Well, I'm sure. Listen, they didn't do this alone. They obviously didn't do this alone. And there were people involved in that case that are obviously still of interest.
Are they going to be taken there too?
Well, they're still of interest.
Okay. So we wait.
we have to wait. And again, these are things that we don't want to give them a heads up, right? Because the time we get to their house, the house will be empty and everything they stole.
Wow.
So we want to be a surprise.
Yes.
Surprise element.
Yeah.
Like you always do anyway. Okay, as we finalize, maybe your final words to Kenyans or message to Kenyans. Even if it's a happy Thanksgiving or something like that.
Well, I think we can start with Thanksgiving, and it is, we have a lot to be thankful for. God's blessed us in a lot of ways. God's blessed Kenya. And I believe, listen, I have a great vision for Kenya. Maybe it's a little bigger for some people. Maybe it's too big for some people, but I believe it. I believe that Kenya should no longer be just a beneficiary of foreign aid. Never again. But they should be a benefactor. And I believe the prosperity that can come about in Kenya can spread to all of East Africa. Kenya has the ability. They have the people. The people are the greatest resource that Kenya has. We have young people that have ideas, that they're trained, they're ready to go. We just need to give them some opportunity. If we give young people the opportunity, they can change this nation and make this nation famous throughout the whole continent.
What's your favorite Kenyan food?
Kenya food? Yeah. Well, you can never. You have to have great respect for ugali. Don't ever disrespect. And so even if you have to make it an ugali turkey, it's okay.
Any Swahili words that you know?
Najua kidogo lakini ninajaribu. And I'll keep doing my best. I keep doing my best.
Okay, tunashukuru sana. Asante sana Ambassador McCarter kwa kufika Radio Jambo, na tunawatakia kila laheri.
Asante.
Endeleeni kusaidia Kenya tafadhali.
Asante.
Mkiona wanasiasa wanatulemea, muna watuanga kidogo.